Galactus versus Knull. Two of the most powerful and most dangerous villains that Marvel has to offer. Two threats to the entire universe as a whole. But if they were ever going to fight against each other, well, who's ultimately coming out on top? Who's going to win it all? And really, is it even gonna be close? Let's get into it. Before the universe, in the infinite void of darkness, there existed one solitary creature. This was Knull, ruler of the darkness and shadow, the king in black. Awakened by the light, when the Celestials invaded his kingdom of darkness, he created the first symbiote in the form of a sword. It decapitated one of them. Banished by the Celestials' first actions, Knull used the fallen Celestials' decapitated head as a forge to refine his blade, naming it All Black the Necro Sword. Slaughtering his way across the cosmos, Knull has been a terror ever since, even creating armies of powerful symbiotes as a way to corrupt the light. Knull is without a doubt one of the strongest and most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe. He's been able to one-shot and defeat Celestials, who, they themselves, are some of the most powerful beings in Marvel. He's been able to slaughter entire armies of gods. He's absolutely manhandled the Silver Surfer. Knull is powerful enough to overpower Odin Force King Thor and straight up rip the Sentry in half. He is seriously strong. And for just as strong as Knull is, he's also just as tough. The guy is pretty much impossible to stop or put down in any fight. Knull has straight up survived the Big Bang before. He's taken planet level blasts from Ego the Living Planet. Silver Surfer has even thrown an entire star at him, and he's been just fine. And sure, Knull has been injured by the likes of Thor, or Surfer, or Venom with the Enigma Force, but the kicker is that he's still been able to come back from pretty much everything every single time. Even when Venom cast him into the sun and straight up atomized him, well, it seems like not even that was enough to kill Knull for forever. And since Knull is the god of the symbiotes, obviously he has some incredible symbiotic powers. He can instantly create symbiotes at will, even creating an entire planet of symbiotes during his battle with Silver Surfer. He can create them in an instant, restrain powerful heroes with his tentacles. He's even able to use the symbiotes to take over enemies and opponents and force them to be under his control. And then there's the most powerful symbiote of them all, the Necro Sword. When other people have wielded this sword, well, they've been able to kill countless gods and celestials. Gore was able to use it to battle against 3 Thors at once. Thor used it to defeat Galactus of all people. It's also killed Ego the Living Planet. And none of that was the sword's max potential, as in the hands of its true master, Knull, the god of the symbiotes, well, the sword is even more powerful and even more devastating than it is with anyone else. And if that's the stuff it's able to do with other people, well, just imagine what Knull can do with the sword in his hands. There's definitely a reason why Knull has quickly transcended it to becoming one of the most dangerous and terrifying villains in the Marvel Universe. But then enter Galactus. After the destruction of his home multiverse, Galen made a deal with his universe's version of Eternity in order to merge and be reborn as the cosmic being Galactus. As Galactus, his role in the universe is to bring equity in order to ensure that oversaturation doesn't happen in this universe too. This is accomplished through the power cosmic, of which he's the living nexus. His power isn't infinite though, which is why he has to rejuvenate himself by feeding on planets. Galactus is strong enough to absolutely manhandle Thor and casually take out Beta Ray Bill and his own Herald Stardust with just one hit. Then he's durable enough where that he can casually take attacks from pretty much every hero out there. And on top of that, can sit inside an exploding star or enter the core of a galaxy absolutely no problem. And that's just scratching the surface. Galactus with the power cosmic is capable of a whole lot. Like instantly one-shotting the Hulk and Silver Surfer, or having a battle with Mephisto that destroyed planets, shattered stars, and threw galaxies into turmoil. He's approached 5 elders of the universe, cosmic beings who are among the oldest beings in the entire universe, and simply drained them out of existence. He's had several fights that threaten to destroy the galaxy and destroy the universe. He can fight against and beat infinitely powerful reality warpers, and even his heralds are insane and in a tier of their own. End of the day, Galactus is straight up an abstract being in the Marvel Universe, on par with beings like Eternity and Mistress Death. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, these are 2 of the most powerful villains that Marvel has to offer. And one of the ways that we know that is that they're both able to kill Celestials. Celestials are like some of the most powerful beings in Marvel. They're vastly more powerful than Skyfather gods like Odin and Zeus. Both Galactus and Knull can beat them in fights. But it does kind of matter a little bit which Celestials these 2 fought, because there are the big ones, Tiamat, Ereshkigal, ones like that, and they're universal threats. But then there's also a lot of fodder Celestial. They've gotten injured or even been killed by just simply planet-level attacks. Knull was killing some of these, so still very impressive, but it kind of becomes a little bit less impressive when you see some heroes like Thor, Sentry, or Silver Surfer beating up on these level Celestials too. Meanwhile, Galactus fought a mad Celestial, on par with the big universal ones. So Galactus fighting against his Celestial is probably the more impressive showing. Then there's also the fact that Knull was defeated by the Enigma Force, which, while it is his kryptonite, well, the Enigma Force isn't really seen as powerful as the power cosmic. After all, the power cosmic has been described before as not just being in touch with everything in the universe, but actually being the universe itself. Iron Man even said that the power cosmic is the primary fundamental substance of omniscience and omnipresence. So basically anything and everything. So yeah, basically Knull is the opposite of the Enigma Force, and the Enigma Force is the opposite of Knull, which is why Venom is able to beat him like this. But what I'm trying to say is that the power cosmic is in a tier above all of this. After all, Galactus and Captain Universe had never been seen as even close to equals. Now, there are a whole lot of low showings for Galactus too. He's had his rough moments throughout the years for sure, even in comparison to Knull. Like, Knull did pretty well against King Thor. This is a very powerful version of Thor, complete with his own innate power and the Odin Force. And Thor managed to drain Galactus of all of his power and kill the World Eater. It's like Thor is crazy powerful, and Knull was able to fight against him. But to be fair, Galactus was also extremely weak in this arc. He was hungry and starving, and definitely not at his best. But still, knock against Galactus. Another one. One time Galactus came back to consume Earth, like he had attempted all that long time ago. And after a brutal fight with King Thor, well, Galactus was eventually defeated again when Thor attacked and impaled him with the all-black Necro Sword. Yeah, the sword that Knull himself created way back when. And as Galactus began devouring Mars, the Necro Sword, which Galactus had believed to be destroyed, manifested inside of him and corrupted him, turning him into the Butcher of Worlds and sent him on a killing rampage. Seems like a knock against Galactus and a point for Knull, but it also takes place in an alternate reality, so you kinda have to take it with a grain of salt. And it's also not like Knull doesn't have his low showings too. Like, Silver Surfer gave him a really good fight. If a Herald of Galactus can give Knull a good fight, then you can be sure that Galactus himself can too. Secondly, well, it's just the fact that Knull was killed and defeated by Venom with the Enigma Force. Galactus is still packing a whole lot more power than that. That's just the thing here. Galactus is more powerful than Knull. No real way around it. He's not just out there defeating Celestials, but Galactus has battled against the likes of Dormammu and Mephisto. He's fought against the Phoenix and battled against the In-Betweener, an abstract concept that embodies the concepts of duality and opposites. Galactus has even battled against other conceptual abstract beings before too, like when he was able to battle against Master Order and Lord Chaos in their true forms, representing the very ideas of order and chaos throughout all of creation. And some of his fights are just mad impressive, like when Galactus battled against the Scryer and the Other in a fight that threatened to destroy the entire Marvel Omniverse, or when Galactus went up against the Black Winter, the entity that destroyed the 6th Omniverse. Galactus has eaten the Galactus Seed, which is the heart of all of eternity, was a seed powerful enough to rebirth Yggdrasil and create a new cosmos. And if Galactus wanted to, well, he could start eating and destroying the whole Omniverse, all the way down to the first firmament. Yes, Knull is able to kill some Celestials. Yes, Knull is scary and his symbiotes are very powerful. But there's just no way he's shown enough power to beat or kill Galactus. There's just no way. Galactus is one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel, and he's taking this fight. Galactus wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.